What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you're watching TWA Motorsports, and today, well, this just popped up on Kohen's car, so I figured we would try to do something a little bit differently. Okay, guys, as you know, Kohen has not only spent some major money here on his car, but we have tore this thing down to just nothing, feels like. And yeah, it was a little challenging, honestly, but it's back together now. It's actually running. It is tuned. And I told you guys, we got a startup tune in the last video. You guys saw it start. You got to hear a little bit of it idling, but we've been doing some just road tuning. Okay, so him driving, me with the laptop in the passenger seat, and it is completely dialed in now. Now, I didn't show you guys that process because it's rather boring, to be honest with you, to do just some idling around town, some small pools on the highway, and ultimately going down to Mexico and doing some all-in pools. But we got all that accomplished. And so I've got this torn down on the passenger side here because that is where I had the wideband hooked up. And I didn't show you guys that either, but what we did was we hooked the wideband in for power and then ran it out the driver's side door and plugged it into the exhaust. That's all now removed since the tuning is complete. We don't necessarily need a wideband in here at all times. But what I will tell you is going on is Kohen bought the world's cheapest, and I get it, mild to wild switch. Okay, so you guys have seen these before. What they do is the Corvettes in the C6 platform, some of them came with what they call MPP exhausts. Okay, so what happens is one side will open up and it'll be quite a bit louder. In the video you saw this thing running, that was open. And so what happened is this switch here that he's got comes with two remotes, and both remotes are not controlling it anymore. And it's very common for them to break. So what I think we are going to do today in this video is we are going to make our own. And I'm going to put it on a toggle switch because he doesn't want to spend 350 bucks on a dash logic. Guys, a dash logic will plug into the OBD port and allow you to use your mirror button as a controller for that. But it also adds some other features that he doesn't really need right now. And I get not wanting to spend $320 on it. So what we are going to do is we are going to do it on the cheap. We're going to see if we can route, something kind of clean. I've seen a lot of people install them in the dead pedal over there. I'm not sure we'll get that elaborate, but we need to start down here. And where we're going to start, I'm going to try to show you guys anyway, is down here. My camera mic is hitting. Down here, we've removed the fuse. The very bottom right fuse is the MPP control. So you can see there's no fuse in that. That is where that kit was installed, and that's actually where we ran the wideband. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make a switch. Okay, we're going to have to tag into something else for power. We'll probably use the seat heater, which is the 10 amp right here, but we're going to need an add a fuse, and then we're going to use this right here as our ground. Actually, I don't even think we need a ground on this now that I think about it. So we can put that back in. I had that out as a ground, and that's where Kohen had the original one grounded, is right here, which is the correct spot. But let me go over there and show you guys the add a fuse situation, because I think we're just going to chop it off the piece that's not working, and we just got to figure out a spot to put a switch in the car. I was thinking about just running it up to the glove box for now, because it'd be nice and easy for him. Just depends on what kind of switch I have. Let's get this tightened back up, and we'll go over there and look at it. Now, when I say add a fuse or add a circuit, this is what I'm talking about here. So what this does is it will plug into an existing fuse. It will allow you to add the original fuse, but then it also allows you to add an additional circuit. Okay, so it's called an add a circuit is what it is, and I'll list it in the description down below. But since this isn't working, you know what? Let's just chop this one off here and use this connector to do what we need to do. We're also going to use this piece, which will go into the left side. So as you're looking at that fuse block where we pulled the MPP fuse out in the bottom right, this will go on the left side of that. Okay, so now all we have to do is we got to get a switch that goes from here to here. That's the only two things we're going to mess with. We don't have to mess with the ground in this situation. So let's see if I've got a switch in the cabinet after I chop these off. Now, as I'm going through looking for switches, I will tell you guys that you need a switch that will handle a 10 amp circuit. Okay, so the seat heater is a 10 amp. This MPP was a 10 amp. So you can see I've already got one of those installed. And you can pull the one that you pull out, you can use for the red wire that we're going to be controlling it. And then you're just going to use the stock one that we pull out of the seat heater to put in this, which I haven't got yet. But I'm looking for a switch. And like I said, it needs to be able to handle 10 amps. And I believe that one will work. We're not going to worry about the light. We're just going to use the actual switch portion. So we don't necessarily need a light on it. And I don't want to drill into his car. I don't know if I have any more switches in here. I don't think that I do. I'd like to have, some people put what they call a momentary switch. Kind of like an old school headlight dimmer on like an old car, like let's say my 54 over there. It's down on the floor and they put it on the dead pedal, which would be a nice spot, but I think this will work for what we need. Now that I found a couple spade connectors to put on the switch that I found, guys, on these, generally the bottom two are the actual switch part. The top is for the light, okay, if you want to use a light. The other thing I did was I turned my meter on and tested it to make sure that that was indeed what we needed. So I've got some wire here, you know, probably a little longer than what I'm going to need. I'm assuming I'm just going to go into the console or the glove box for now. But let me get these. I'm going to heat shrink these real quick. They're crimp connectors, but I like to put heat shrink on them, and then we'll get them pushed on the switch. And then all we have to do is on the other end, put this guy on, and of course our fusible link or our ADA circuit. Well, my heat shrink did okay. I can't get it over those connectors, but that one I did. And so you can see they're on there below the switch. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of tape this up, make it look a little nicer, and hide, just make sure those connections, because they're pretty easy to bend, aren't in the way. And then we'll probably loom it up when we get all finished. But let me tape this up. I still got to solder these other end connectors on and heat shrink those, and then we will be ready to kind of see where we can route it. After a little bit of work, this is what I've got. See, I put some loom on it just so it's out of sight. Doesn't look like just two pieces of wire. So now I think we're ready to go over here and try this thing. I think I'm going to put it in the glove box for now. We may down the road get what they call one of those dead pedal switches and put it over there. I think there's a company that actually makes a kit to do that. But what we are going to need to do is, let's see if I can route it. I think I can route it up over and down maybe. Let's see if I can. Let's pull this down. We may have to unhook this on the side. I'm going to have two hands for that. We're going to unhook this little cord here. I don't think it'll go down any further without unhooking that. No, it won't. So after pulling this all apart, kind of getting it in there, I don't like it. It's pinching the wire when we close it, and I don't love it. So we're gonna have to find another home. It's just not gonna work for me. I kind of brought it up through the corner here, and it just doesn't want to live there, which is fine. It's just pinching it when it goes back and forth, and I can't live with that. So, new plan. We may try to go into the center console here. Another thing I want to do is, before we even go that deep, let's see if this thing's even going to work, right? So let's pull the 10 fuse out that's up top. And that's where our ADA fuse is going to go. We're going to add this fuse to that. Our little ADA circuit here. Let's say that is a tight fit, guys. Once we get it in there, let's go ahead and plug it in. If it'll plug in, holy cow, we're gonna have to go back behind. Now we've got that hooked up. Now let's get our white wire in there. We may have to unhook all this in order to be nice if my light would hang out. We need to go on the left-hand side of that piece. Doesn't fit in there great. I would assume that's going to wiggle out. Let's start it up and give it a shot. Who knows, before we drag everything apart, make an absolute mess of the console and whatnot. Let's give it a shot and see if it'll even start. Okay, it's obviously open right now. So then it should, if we hit this, it did, it closed it. Now we'll hit this again, back open. Holy cow. What a difference. All right, now we just need to find a home for this guy. We're working on getting the console loose, see if we can find a better placement for this. So you have to pull your e-brake cable up. So you can see there's a clip there. Hopefully you guys can see that. Another one there. So if you pull straight up, it'll unclip. And then you have two T15s. If you take these little covers off, you'll see access to. And you can see how loose it is now. Pretty loose. The rest should be clips, okay? And it's been a while since I've taken one of these apart, but we're gonna give it a shot. It's really loose on this side. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it out with the shifter where it is. And I'm hoping I don't have to take the glove box lid off. Sometimes you have to take the lid off to give you enough room to slide back, but we'll just have to see here. Not real sure. Like I said, it's been a minute since I've done one of these. I found another 7mm that went right here. And you can see that I've got it pulled back a little bit, but I'm almost positive, guys, there's another bolt underneath here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here because I think I've got enough room. I've got it pulled apart. I think I can make my way down this carpet lining and into the console right here. I don't know that for sure, but I'm like almost positive. We'll see. So you can see that I went under between the tunnel and the carpet all the way down, and I think we're good now. So I've got a pretty good loop inside the console with my loom on it, but we may have to pull some, but I think this is going to work. I like this. Now I need to wipe off all my handprints, but check it out. Now we've got our switch in here, easy to access. Like I said, I don't want to drill any holes in this car, you know. Seems sturdy. Glove box shuts. I need to wipe off, like I said, all my handprints, but then all I have to do is plug our wire in down there and we are finished. Got everything ran, plugged in, can't see any wires. Exciting. Let's give it a shot. It's gonna be really loud, but I'm gonna show you the difference. This is open. Close it. That's closed, so you can actually hear yourself think. Open it again. Definitely a big difference. So anyway, kind of annoyingly loud when it's open, but it does sound good. Well, there you have it. Now that it's out of the shop, you can actually hear what I'm saying, but Kohen's taken it up to give it a rinse. Hasn't been washed since we've done all this stuff, so that is what he is doing now. See if he's got it open, of course. He had to open it up the minute he got out of the garage. Woo! That thing sounds nasty, that is for sure. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this. It's a pretty easy process, guys. You don't have to necessarily have the parts, you know, like I robbed some parts off of that mild to wild switch, but you can make your own, and I will list those parts in the description. So if you did enjoy this video on making your own mild to wild switch, we may, like I said, do a momentary switch on the dead pedal down the road, and if we do, I will show you guys that. But if you did enjoy it, please hit that thumbs up button. Guys, if you are not subscribed, get on there, hit the subscribe. Of course, ring the bell notification. That will notify you every single time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.